is famous for a reason, but it wasn't just the seamless dream you see on Instagram.
In some ways we overplanned, in some ways we underplanned, and at times we just overexerted ourselves.
Today we're going to do a total look back at our itinerary, at the things we loved and some of the things we would change, and the one regret that will change how we travel forever. We started in Naples, and while it can be chaotic, our favorite find was Christmas Alley. You could spend hours getting lost in the detail of these shops. Also, our favorite pasta place was nearby, and it was called Call Pasta.
Yeah, let's talk about the food. It was absolutely incredible. It was the best pizza of our lives. We went to 3 different pizza places, and our favorite was D'Angeli. I mean, just look at Emily's face here. You can tell how good it is. What made this pizza place really good was the olive oil. It was just absolutely incredible. Just a short train ride from Naples is Pompeii. I knew it was a city buried by a volcano in 79 AD, but I didn't realize the sheer scale of the place. It's not just a site, it's an entire metropolitan area.
This is where planning becomes crucial, because there are 2 main entrances, Porta Marina and Piazza Amphitheatro. Depending on which one your tour starts at, you're going to see a completely different side of the city.
Porta Marina is the main gate near the train station, putting you right at the Forum and the famous plaster casts. But if you enter through the Amphitheatro side, you're starting at the oldest surviving Roman amphitheater in the world.
The biggest takeaway, you will not see it all in one trip. We walked for hours and still felt like we only cleared 30% of the map. It's a physical endurance test disguised as a history lesson, and also at the whole time you're trying to actually absorb everything that you see.
As an engineer, seeing the raised stones in the streets, designed so people could cross the road without stepping in rainwater or sewage while still letting wagon wheels pass through, was a highlight. It's 2,000-year-old brilliant design.
You would wonder why people of Pompeii risked it by living so close to a volcano. But the land of the surrounding area was extremely fertile due to the volcanic ash. We got to experience this ourselves when we went to a winery. The winery staff taught us about the different varietals of grapes and let us walk along their vineyard. We got to test the grapes and wines ourselves in their restaurant and were provided lunch. From there, we were driven to the base camp of Mount Vesuvius and hiked the remaining bit. I handled this much better than Alex, who seemed like he could die at any moment. Unfortunately, it was very foggy, so we don't have too many photos from the summit, but it was still really cool and totally worth the hike. Just north of Naples is a place that makes Versailles look like a starter home. This is the Royal Palace of Caserta, the summer home of the Bourbon Kings.
This place is on another level. It's the largest royal residence in the world by volume, but the real star isn't the building, it's the backyard.
Calling it a backyard is an understatement. The park covers 120 hectares. That's almost 300 acres of manicured gardens, waterfalls, and sculptures.
We spent hours here just trying to reach the waterfall at the very end, and we didn't even make it. If you're visiting and want to actually see it all, do yourself a favor. Pay for the shuttle bus or rent a bike. If you try to walk the whole 300 acres after doing 20,000 steps in Pompeii, your legs will actually follow for yours.
That being said, walking it allows you to truly enjoy the scenery and makes you feel like you step back in time. It is stunningly beautiful and much quieter than the chaos of Naples. Fun fact for the fellow nerds out there, the interior of the palace was used as the royal palace of Naboo in Star Wars, The Phantom Menace.
So, if you feel like you're walking through a movie set, it's because you literally are.
After the Scale of Caserta, we headed to Sorrento. Now, don't get us wrong, it is incredibly pretty, but for us it felt a bit overrated.
It's very touristy. It almost felt like the high-end Disney version of an Italian coastal town. However, there was one thing that was undeniably cool: the buildings tucked away in the caverns.
He's talking about the Valley of the Mills. Seeing these ancient, moss-covered stone buildings sitting at the bottom of a deep volcanic crevasse right in the middle of the town was surreal. It looks like nature is slowly reclaiming the city.
And we didn't leave empty-handed. Sorrento is world famous for its inlaid wood. We found a handcrafted music box that is easily one of the most beautiful things we brought home.
So Sorrento gets points for the views and the craftsmanship, but if you're looking for the vibe that feels more like real Italy, less like a gift shop, you have to go where we went next. If Sorrento felt like the tourist version of Italy, Procida felt like the real thing. It's a tiny island, but the views here are straight out of a fairy tale.
Our B&B host told us right away, skip Capri, this is better. She was right. It's colorful, it's quiet, and it doesn't feel like it's putting on a show for you. It's a more colorful, authentic Capri.
The highlight for me was finally getting into the water. I went for a swim in the Mediterranean, and honestly, it was the most refreshing moment of the entire trip. The water was crystal clear and perfectly calm.
And can we talk about the seafood? We had the absolute best meal of the trip here. Everything was caught that morning. It was simple, fresh, and reminded us why we came to Italy in the first place.
It was the perfect antidote to the crowds in Rome and the polish of Sorrento. If you want authenticity, you should go to Procida, and every area is a perfect scene.
Then came Rome. This is where we hit a wall. Our biggest regret was only spending 2 days, causing us to do the Vatican and the Colosseum in the exact same day.
While it is doable to see both in the same day, we were also trying to see the rest of Rome as well. And when in Rome, you walk 20,000 steps a day. This resulted in Alex and I's only argument on the trip.
If we were going back, we would split the city up into zones rather than spreading our adventures sporadically across the city. We'd also do 3 days so we wouldn't feel as rushed.
Just an editor's note here that you guys need to really plan your outfits when you do go to Italy because it is extremely hot with lots of walking. So make sure that any outfit you wear is going to be comfortable for those long walks. I did have some chub rub, if you know what I mean, my thick girlies.
But even with the mistakes, Rome had its perks. Our hotel view was incredible. We were literally across the street from the Colosseum. It's the kind of view that almost makes you forget your feet are falling off. Now, you'll notice we don't have any footage of the Sistine Chapel itself. Most people think the no photos rule is about flash damaging the frescoes, and that's part of it, but the real reason is actually a 1980s business deal. The Vatican needed funding for a massive 20-year restoration, and Nippon TV of Japan footed the $4.2 million bill. In exchange, they got the exclusive rights to all photography and video. Even though those rights expired years ago, the Vatican kept the ban in place to manage the crowd flow and maintain some levels of quiet in a room that usually has 2,000 people in it. It's one of the few places where you just have to put the phone down and actually look with your eyes. Overall, the Vatican was really cool and definitely a must-see if you're going to be in Rome. Florence is the forefront of the art scene in Italy. The Uffizi Gallery has works from the greats.
All the Ninja Turtles are represented, and the Duomo is an unreal experience. The views of the city are gorgeous, and thousands of stairs are a memorable journey.
A recommendation we followed was to listen to the Rick Steves audio while you walk it, so you can enjoy all the historical facts about the Duomo and the mural within the dome.
We spent too much time in Florence otherwise. The Uffizi Gallery and the Duomo were fantastic, but 5 days there were a mistake. You do not need that long.
Or we should have did what we did in Naples and planned more day trips.
One day trip we planned on the fly while waiting in the line for the Uffizi was a tour trip to Pisa, San Gimignano, and Siena. First up was Pisa. It's a classic shot that everyone wants, but what they don't tell you is that the tower is essentially all that's there for tourists.
It's the world's most famous bell tower, and honestly, it's a bit of a circus. You arrive, you navigate a sea of people doing the exact same hand-propping pose, you snap your photo, and then you just realize there's not much else to do.
It's a 20-minute stop disguised as a day trip. Our advice, get your photo, grab a quick gelato, and get back on the train. Don't build your whole itinerary around it.
It's a beautiful piece of engineering, or lack thereof, but it's a one-and-done experience. If you want a skyline that looks a lot like a medieval version of Manhattan, this is it. San Gimignano is famous for its towers. At one point, there were 72.
Back in the 13th century, if you were a wealthy family, you built towers to prove your wealth. It was a real measuring competition amongst the elite, if you know what I mean. Today, only 14 remain, but walking through the streets feels like a total time capsule because the town basically stopped growing after the Black Death hit in 1348.
San Gimignano is located right in the center of the Tuscan vineyards. They are more iconic for the rolling hills than the vineyard we visited in Naples, and some of their wine is even more widely known across the world.
In the center of San Gimignano, they have a medieval torture museum. lots of shopping, and handcrafted goods, as well as the 2024 voted world's most famous gelato. I did not want to leave, and I wished we could abandon our tour group to stay, but the only reason we couldn't is because public transport to and from is limited and stops running around 2 p.m. Then there's Siena. If you look at the top 10 list for Tuscany, this is always on it, but for us, it was our biggest wood skip of our trip.
Everyone talks about the Palio horse race in Piazza del Campo, but unless you're there for the actual festival, it felt like a lot of uphill walking just to see a brick plaza. After the magic of Florence, Siena felt like it was trying too hard to be medieval without the same payoff.
Exactly. It was crowded, expensive, and honestly, we felt like we'd already seen the best of Tuscany elsewhere. If we were doing it again, we'd skip Siena and spend more time in San Gimignano. We kind of just wandered around aimlessly.
Sometimes the most must-see spots are the ones that do nothing more than drain your battery, literally and mentally, without giving you that wow moment. Looking back at these photos, I have one final regret. I shot this entire trip on my Pixel.
When actually wanting to blow up our photos, they can turn out grainy due to the resolution. This wasn't an issue on all of our photos, but when it comes to documenting our trips, we like to have one extra large photo above our fireplace from every location we've visited.
There is also a lot more artistic freedom allowed with an actual camera, and now that we have a YouTube channel, we want to bring the best possible quality content to you as a viewer. Not just photos, but also A-roll, B-roll, and everything in between. This is why we've upgraded to the Nikon Z5 II for Japan, and our other videos that you've seen. We realized that some memories deserve more than just a smartphone photo.
Italy changed how we look at the world and how we want to travel in the future. Slower, smarter, and with a better camera.
We're taking everything we learned in Italy to Japan later this year in October, so make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you there.